To Israel Hamlin's death certificate, I saw there was a father listed, and that mother was unknown. So I'm going off of just good faith. And the father was listed as Israel Hamlin as well. So the Israel Hamlin that I found was a junior. Well, I found their father, Israel Hamlin Sr. So during those times, I was thinking of the unfortunate breeding traditions on plantations and the age in which they would start forcing people to have children. And also those who weren't forced. I was thinking of the age that people typically started having children in their own free will. And I always say between 15 to 20 years old is when you would start having kids. So I figured that Israel Hamlin Sr., of course, had to be born before 1830 because that's around the time that Israel Jr. was born. So Israel Hamlin Sr. had to be born around 1810-ish. Give or take 5 years. So I was able to find their father, right? Cool. Now, going back to the DNA connections, I saw a few people in my DNA matches with Hamlin in their family tree who were connected to a Joseph Hamlin. When I traced their tree back and their trees back in my tree, I put together the pieces that Joseph and Lawrence are brothers. So Joseph Hamlin Sr. is another sibling of Lawrence Hamlin. Joseph Hamlin Sr. he actually had multiple marriages, but Joseph Hamlin Sr. ended up having a son named Mac Hamlin. When I tried to find more information on Mac Hamlin, I came across a couple different Mac Hamlins, but I came across a Mac Hamlin who was older than the one that Joseph had. When I found Mac Hamlin, who was older, based off of the timeline, this Mac Hamlin was from Timmonsville, South Carolina. Again, all of the Hamlins are related, especially if they lived in Timmonsville. But yes, so this Mac Hamlin was from Timmonsville, South Carolina. And the record that I found on him was actually a Civil War pension. So he was a Civil War soldier in the 12th Colored Infantry. And this pension record is what led me to another big discovery. I believe that Mac Hamlin was another one of Lawrence's siblings. This Mac Hamlin had a pension record where he must have died pretty young, actually, but he must have died pretty young because his beneficiary was receiving his pension. His beneficiary was his mother, Sally Hamlin. I did it, y'all. So, Israel Hamlin and Sally Hamlin had all of these children from what I could find so far. I found my fourth great grandparents, Israel and Sally. How beautiful is that? Now, looking into all of these different siblings that I found, which I will list them. Edgar, I thought it was so cute, the naming traditions. Edgar actually ended up having either a daughter or a granddaughter named Frances after his brother. How beautiful. And I was able to trace Frances all the way down to one of my DNA matches. How cool. So let's talk about the name Hamlin. The name Hamlin globally is not a common name, but especially in the United States. There are only about, as of today, less than 30,000 people in the entire United States with the last name Hamlin. And only under 3,000 of that are Black people. And I found out they're actually mostly, the last name Hamlin is mostly concentrated in the states of California, Texas, and Michigan. Hamlin. This leads me to believe that we're all related. I truly do believe that. I'm going to try my hardest to prove that. But Hamlin. So when I looked at the name Hamlin in South Carolina, when I was trying to see if my people were enslaved, because I couldn't find any records of free Black Hamlins in the state of South Carolina before 1870. I could not find any records on that. I found records in Virginia of Black Hamlins who were free during slavery, but not in South Carolina. So I said, well, trying to find Lawrence, being that he was born before emancipation, and then finding his other siblings, finding his father and his mother being born so early, before emancipation, I said, well, okay, let's see. Were there any Hamlins, any enslavers with the last name Hamlin in the entire state of South Carolina? Y'all, there were only nine enslavers during 1850 and 1860 in the entire state of South Carolina with the last name Hamlin. And every last one of them were in Charleston, South Carolina, Mount Pleasant to be exact. There was also a Hamlin in Georgetown. Now, what did I do with this information? It is time to look into the slave schedules.